Episode 165. Grandpa will always be your safe haven. Serena felt like her heart was stabbed. She tightened her grip, bowed her head, and started to eat. Hearing Jake's response, Grandpa was infuriated. He slapped his fork and spoon on the table and exclaimed,
"What do you mean by forgetting? Are you that busy at work?"
Without saying anything, Jake continued to eat slowly, his posture elegant. That drove Grandpa crazy. He looked at Serena and asked,
"Sunshine, has he been so insufferable these days?"
Insufferable. Jake paused for a second. Serena put down her plate and said, "No."
"How is that possible?"
Grandpa had seen through it and sighed. "He's busy at work, so it's only natural that he's forgotten." Serena explained quietly and calmly. She slowly got herself more food and continued to eat, as if she did not care. Jake was the same way, calm as always. There was nothing Captain Robinson could do. Glaring angrily at Jake, he stood up.
"Grandpa, please finish dinner,"
Jake called. However, his voice was so calm that he did not sound sincere. Serena put her plate down and quickly said, "Grandpa, you must eat first. We can talk about it later, all right?" Hearing that, Captain Robinson shot a glance at Jake. Noticing that Jake had no objection, he snorted and sat down again. He knew his grandson too well. As long as he did not say no, it meant there was still room for negotiation. It seemed that it was not all Jake's fault. After taking a few bites, Captain Robinson said he was full. After dinner, Serena accompanied Captain Robinson to the garden for a walk and returned to the house in less than 20 minutes. Jake was making a phone call sitting on the couch. It sounded like it was about business. Captain Robinson sat silently aside, and Serena was peeling an apple for him. However, when he finished the apple, Jake was still on the phone. Giving him a stare, Captain Robinson threw the apple core at his grandson as a warning. Without ducking, Jake caught the apple core and threw it in the trash can. Cleaning his hands with a wipe, his tone did not change as he talked over the phone until he hung up in a couple of minutes.
"Stay at the old house tonight, Sunshine."
Captain Robinson sighed and said, although he was talking to Serena, he was glancing at Jake.
"I don't have too many days left. If I could spend more time with the younger generation, I would die a happy old man."
"Grandpa," Serena felt a bit sad. "You will live forever."
"Even if I could, your fight has taken a decade away from me."
Serena was rendered speechless and glanced at Jake. Feeling her glance, Jake quickly looked away and said carelessly,
"Then you should stay. I have something to do at the company. If there's nothing else, I'll leave first."
Captain Robinson was so mad that he took an apple in front of him and threw it at Jake, barking,
"You stay as well."
Jake dodged it and said matter-of-factly,
"I'm busy at work. Get rid of it. Get rid of the company. Even without your company, I could support myself."
Captain Robinson picked up another apple and threw it at his grandson.
"Or do you intentionally want to kill me by giving me a heart attack? Then no one would stand in your way, right? You ungrateful boy."
Jake caught the apple and put it back without a word. Serena was sitting on the side, silent as well. When Carson and Nola Robinson had come back from their neighbor's house, this was what they were subject to. Carson Robinson's face darkened as he blamed Jake.
"Jake, don't make your grandpa mad."
Jake curled his lips, glanced at Serena, and made a revealing remark.
No one wants to see me, so there's no point for me to stay here.
As he said that, everyone understood what was going on. Immediately, all the eyes fell on Serena. She was wrapped in looks of blame, contempt, love, and ambiguity. Feeling nervous, she said, "I don't—" Captain Robinson glared at Jake and threw another apple at him, roaring,
"What do you have to say for yourself?"
Hit in the belly by the apple, Jake got annoyed but did not want to get into an argument with his grandfather. He was rendered speechless. Picking up the apple and putting it back, Jake stood up and said,
"I'll go have a shower."
Seeing that, Nola looked at Serena with a half-smile. Serena looked back at her fearlessly.
"I am impressed that you could torture my son like this,"
Nola said ambiguously, and left the room.
"Carson, dear, I have something to tell you."
Carson Robinson nodded and glanced at Serena.
"Try not to bother the senior generation with your private matters. You are an adult and should behave like one. Jake is good to you."
Although Carson did not feel much about Serena, he did think she was pretty. She was not from a prominent family and did not have an attractive character. Because she was handpicked by Captain Robinson, he did not argue. He did not expect, however, she would have such an impact on his son. Although Jake did not say it, he clearly cared about his wife a lot. It was evident. At least he had not seen Jake treating anyone like this before. The entire Robinson family were quite stubborn. Serena bowed her head, nodded, and said with compliance, "I know, Father." Carson did not say anything more and followed Nola into the study.
"Don't listen to him. If this boy dares to bully you, tell me. And as for Grandpa, we'll have your back."
Captain Robinson disagreed and tapped his chest.
"Grandpa is always your safe haven. He always has been and always will be."
Serena's nose twitched and her eyes became wet. Nodding, she snuffed and asked, "Grandpa, why are you so nice to me?"
"Of course. Should I be nice to Jake instead? That boy is quite a brat, and I'm counting on you to give me a great-grandchild."
Additionally, Jake should be grateful that he had a wife. With his temper, barely anyone could put up with him. He happened to meet someone that both he and Grandpa liked, so of course Grandpa had to make her stay. Grandpa did not say what he was thinking. Looking at Serena being moved, he was quite content. He was lucky that his grandson's wife was this girl, who was so easy to please. If it were that Cox girl. Thinking about Lila Cox, Captain Robinson couldn't help feeling upset. As his smile gradually disappeared, he quickly changed the subject, holding Serena's hand. After chatting for a while, he felt tired and asked her to go to bed. Standing in the doorway, she felt so awkward about the thought about the alone time that she was to spend some time with him. She did not know how to face him. After a long while, she opened the door and walked in.